Welcome to Henderson Library's Home Edition. My name is Sadie, and today we're going to be making an origami crane. Now, for those of you who don't know the significance of a crane in Japanese and other Asian folklore, a crane is considered to be both the bird of happiness and a bird that represents good fortune and longevity. Now, to start with making the crane, you're going to need a square piece of paper. The thinner the paper, the better, and the larger the paper, it'll be a bit easier to make. But you can also use sticky notes if you are used to origami and know how to make the folds. Now to start out, what we're going to be doing is taking this square piece of paper and folding it into a triangle shape. Some of you may know this as the taco fold. The best way I've learned to fold this, because you want to make the lines as exact as you can, but it does not have to be perfect. But the best way I found to do this is to line it up as best as you can, hold it in the middle, and then push back in the middle. Then from there, you can even out the sides, and you should have a pretty exact fold. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. From there, you are going to open it up again. Right now, we're just making creases so we can fold easier later on. So you are going to be taking the other side and making another triangle. So it kind of looks like a cross in the middle with the creases. Again, holding it in the middle, pushing it back, and creasing the entire thing. Now we are going to do 2 more creases, so eventually we kind of have a star shape in the middle. Right now we have the cross, we're going to want a star. So we're going to fold it in half to make a rectangle shape. And feel free to pause the video at any time and take as long as you need to get these folds right. There's no rush at all. But creasing that, opening it back up, and doing the exact same thing on the opposite side. Lining it up, holding it, folding it that way, creasing the entire thing, and boom, you have all the creases you need. Now, this is where the folds get a little bit tricky. The finished product should look like this. But we're not going to be able to see what that's going to look like for a little bit, because there are a few more steps we need to take. From here, I want you to put your paper like a diamond, facing towards you. Then you are going to take these 2 corners, and the goal is going to be making a smaller diamond. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But you are going to kind of crease it backwards. It doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of like that. Then you're going to take this side, do the exact same thing, taking the crease you already have and kind of creasing it backwards, like you would if you were trying to even out a wrinkled paper. But now that you have that, you are good to go. You want to take these 2 corners, fold them like so, and have them meet in the middle at the bottom. Should look like that. And then from there, use the creases that you made and flatten out what is now your small diamond. From here, it should kind of look like a mouth. Make sure the mouth is pointing towards you. Take the corner on your right and fold it to meet in the middle. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make it as exact as you can just to make it easier later on. So take as much time as you need. Then we are going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. This whole process is the beginning steps of making something called a crane base, which is used in a lot of different types of origami. But most importantly, as the name suggests, in the crane origami. But then you are going to flip it over, as I've already started doing, and do the exact same thing. So take the corner, meet it in the middle, take the other corner, and have it meet in the middle. If you can't get the lines exact to line up perfectly, don't worry about it. Just know it's better to have them kind of farther apart than it is to have them too close together. You'll see that I have a little bit of space in between each of these. I don't have them fold over each other. Now we get to another tricky fold. I like to call these folds inverse folds, but before we do that, we are just going to make another quick crease to make it a little bit easier for us. by striking the top triangle and just folding it down so it makes a crease along the line you have here. Folding it down, creasing it, popping it back up. All right, now to the kind of tricky part. So don't worry if it takes you a little bit to get this down. It took me forever. But we are going to be opening these two flaps. Then make sure you don't unfold the whole thing. I like to put my finger right here where the crease we just made is, and fold up to that point. And then to make an inverse fold, we are essentially going to be reversing the creases to make it a little bit easier, and then folding along that crease to make it look like this. And it should look like this on both sides when you're done, so you can flatten it out. This is, again, a little bit tricky, so don't worry if you don't get it on the first try. It should look like this. And we are going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side, so I will show you again. Have the crease here, unfold these two flaps, put your finger where that crease is at the top triangle, unfold until you hit your finger, smooth out the creases along these lines, so it should look like an open mouth at this point, really. And then, at that point, you wanna just follow the creases. You shouldn't be making any new creases at this point. You're just following along the new ones, the old ones you've already made. So kind of flatten that out, and then flatten this out, and boom, you have a crane base. Now we're at a part that's a little bit easier again. So we are going to be doing something that we kind of already did. You should have a side that has little legs and a side that is just one piece. You want the legs to be facing you because it's very important that you fold on the right side, the correct side that is. So you will be doing what you did before, taking the right corner, just one flap, because there are two flaps now, just one flap of the right corner, and folding that into the middle. Again, if you can't get it perfect, it's better to get it a little bit farther away from the middle than it is to go over. And then we're going to be doing that on the other side, meeting in the middle, so eventually it should look like this. And then we are going to be flipping it over, doing the exact same thing. So looks like that. And like that. Now at this point you should have 4 different flaps, one right here, one right here, and then these 2 on the other side, add up to make 4. You are going to take, while holding it flat against the table or whatever you're working on, you will take one of the flaps and fold it over onto the other one. At this point, you should have 3 flaps on one side and 1 flap on the other. We want to even that out. So you will flip it over and take one of the flaps from the side with 3 flaps and fold it over to the side with 1 flap. At this point, you will have the little legs again, and it kind of looks like a Star Wars ship. So at this point, you're going to be starting to be able to see what the anatomy parts of the crane are going to be. These are going to be the wings, and these are eventually going to be the tail and the head. So you will take one of the flaps, one of the flaps just right here and fold it up until you kind of meet resistance. There should be a thicker fold in the middle here, and you will feel that as you're folding up. Don't try to force it up too high. Essentially, you're gonna fold it until it's almost exact with the points here. Crease that down, should look like this. Then you will flip it over and do the exact same thing on the other side. And at this point, should look like this. Now we're gonna be doing something we did 2 steps ago, which is going to be seeing your 4 flaps on either side, 2 on each side, holding it down on the table towards you, taking 1 flap, folding it over, so it looks like this at this point. There's 3 flaps on one side, and 1 flap on the other side. Then we will be flipping it over again, and taking the side with 3 flaps, and folding it over to the side with 1, so there are 2 on each side. At this point, it should look like this. Now comes to the point when we are almost finished, and it gets kind of fun. So these 2 things right here are going to be the tail and the head, but we can't just have them sticking straight up because that's not what a crane looks like. So instead, we are going to pull them out a little bit and just kind of crease at the bottom here, form a new crease just so they stick out a little bit. If you're not sure exactly where you want to put it, I like to follow the line that's right here. I feel like that's a good place to leave it. But you can also decide exactly how far you want to leave it out. And then you will do the exact same thing with the other side. Folding it down, creasing it, and boom, you'll have what's going to be the head and the tail. Now, it doesn't matter which is which, but when you are deciding which one you want to be the head and the tail, I like to choose the one that has kind of further apart creases, as in they don't completely meet in the middle, because that makes it easier to do the fold we're going to do for the head. So I'm going to be taking this side. What I like to do, make a crease by folding it down like this. This is where you want the head to be. So this is an example of a finished crane with its head. You fold it down just to make the crease, fold it back up, and then we're going to be doing another inverse fold. So pinch it where you made that fold, just so you don't fold beyond that point. Maybe a little bit lower just to make it a little bit easier. And then essentially, you're going to be folding it inside out. I will show you that again, just to make sure you see it. It should look like this. You have a crease right about there. Open it up just a little bit. Flatten it out so it looks like this. Reverse the crease, and then pinch it so it looks like this. It's okay if you can't get it, you can also just leave it folded down, but this one will stay a little bit better. So at this point, we are really close to being done with our crane. All we have to do is fold the wings down and make it a bit 3-dimensional if you want to. So to fold the wings down, you just will follow along where the imaginary line connecting these 2 tips of the triangles will meet. So, and again, this one doesn't have to be perfect. This is just how big you think your crane's wing should be. I think that this is a good size for my crane, so I'm gonna make them like this. And you wanna make them about even on both sides, because I think the crane would have trouble flying if it had to fly with uneven wings, but I don't know, maybe your crane's special. So at this point, you're basically done. This is an origami crane, but if you want to do something a little bit extra and just make it able to stand on its own, you can take the flaps that really just connect the wings from a diagonal angle, which means you will take this one and you'll take this one and you will gently pull them apart. You might need to go a bit further down because this is really just trying to make that bubble that you just saw. Take the other sides now. And boom, you have it. You can also kind of push down here. Again, being very gentle because the paper will rip otherwise. Paper's not known for being strong, unfortunately. But now that you have that, you can kind of separate the legs and boom, you have a crane. You can fix it however you like, and basically, that's it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out more videos in the Home Edition page. Don't forget about the Summer Reading Challenge too. Have a good one.